Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts Reviews and Off Times Reminisces. Today we're doing a reminisce, for sure, Order of the Ebon Hand, way back when this comes from, and it is, black metal. By people that don't know black metal always sort of say it sounds the same, it's this, that or the other, and of course that's bollocks. As time goes by, it's splintered into so many different tributaries that it's more like a delta of music than a genre. But even sort of back in the earlier days, the differences between parts of the genre were evident, and quite like Order of the Ebon Hand on that basis. They had a new wavy post-punky sound in many ways, certainly on some of the tracks, and this one is a case in point. So we'll have a listen to it, just so you know, because I'm not talking nonsense, which may or may not be the case. Let's go. Where's the button? There's the button. Now, the first time I ever heard this album, when this track came up, my immediate thought was, this sounds like Public Image Limited on steroids, lots of steroids, and it reminded me of the eponymous track, Public Image. It had that sort of glide of guitar. I say it wasn't called post-punk in those days, but you call it post-punk now, and it was quite unique in the day, that song was, because it's sort of the traditional bluesy riffs excuse me that were prevalent at the time. Even punk bands were chucked out the window here, and a totally different tone of guitar sound came in, and so I quite liked Public Image, the song. Not too thrilled with Public Image, the band, to be honest, but I like that song, and the fact that this sort of if you can if the original Public Image was a paper plane, this is a SR-71 Blackbird. Yeah. of things I like about this track is, to these ears anyway, you've got a very dense sound really, but a lightness to it. That guitar and to a degree the synthesizers underneath it, sort of soaring up in the sky, whilst the bass and drums are basically steamrolling along on the ground, and you do get a bit of a contrast there between the two, which works very well. And well, on the subject of what it reminds me of, when I was listening to this album, again, I can remember it. There's very few things I can remember, but I remember this, listening to it the first time, and as I said earlier, Public Image sprang to mind immediately. But then there were a few sort of riffs or chords that pop up on this track that reminded me of Susie and the Banshees, and so I wasn't too surprised, but I was delighted when further on in the album, I hadn't twigged, because I don't read track lists or what have you, but when Spellbound popped up later in the album, I was highly delighted. And for those of you that want to go and have a little dig about later, I will listen to that, because it is, again, Spellbound on steroids, but it doesn't lose that the character of the original. It's a faithful rendition played with sledgehammers, but so where was I? Am I losing my train of thought? Yes, I probably am. So let's continue before I waffle down some tangent that I cannot find my way back from. So, a couple of things this evokes for me. One is, not to any great degree, but I always listen to this and think there's a bit of a sense of playfulness about it, albeit mischievous playfulness. It isn't an innocent play. It is sort of, there's a capriciousness there. And the other thing, some weird reason, it doesn't always happen, but when I was alluding to the guitars up in the sky and rhythm down on the ground, it's almost as if when you I'm not sure the same thing happens nowadays with the state of the world or state of nature, but the documentaries of old, where you would see millions of wildebeest and grazers following the monsoon in Africa, to the delight of various kinds of predators. If you imagine the bass and drums on this being that stampede of herbivores seeking the greener grass, the guitars remind me of vultures soaring overhead, really to pick off the tidbits from the dead, and that either the lions or the crocodiles or what have you have brought to ground. But yes, that springs to mind very often when I'm listening to this song. The thing about the tone of this song is, this is probably a stretch, but if you sort of snuck into a goth disco and crept up behind the DJ, and whilst he wasn't looking, put this track in as the next song along, I don't think the audience, the dancers doing their moves on the dance floor, would be too shocked by its inclusion. It's the sort of melody in this song quite happily would fit into many a sort of post-punky gothic-y sort of song. It's just the heaviness and the pace that would catch them unawares, I reckon. But we all adapt, and if you piss enough, you get on with it, don't you? So yes, I might try that one day. Not that I'd go to goth discos, and not that I ever want to nowadays. An armchair, cup of cocoa. I sometimes wish I smoked, and I could go through the motions of puffing on a pipe. Cherry vanilla tobacco. Yeah. If I ever get to a stage whereby no, stop it now. Let's finish. So there you go. I've just realised that I've left my microphone way over there. Hopefully it's picked up the bollocks I've been spouting, and I don't have to do this again. But in fact, let me draw it closer, at least I can hear my conclusion, as much as a conclusion as it will be. Another thing I like about this song is towards the end it drops slightly, and you think, oh, it's going to be a drift out, but no, it kicks back in again, and bounces you right up to the very end, and it is a bouncer of a song. This is. It does sort of lift you, and you know, if you were one of those unfortunates lined up in a battle, ready to charge into a hail of arrows and meet with certain death at the end of a length of steel, you'd probably do it a little bit happier if this was playing in accompaniment to it all. Nice. Anyway, there you go. Check the album out. It's worth it. Clicky bollocks. Catch you all next time. Cheerio. I'm off to check my microphone settings now, or sound settings, see if I made a total balls of this. Anyway, cheerio.